All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a big week for Ripple and XRP. I want to get into all of the news. We saw Ripple acquire a new company called G Treasury. That has a lot. That is a lot of stuff that we need to just go over. What that means. They process $12.5 trillion per year, which is like 34 billion a day. This could send XRP's price well into $10, $15 if all of this value is transacted on the XRP ledger. We also need to get into Ripple getting into the DAT, digital asset treasury business. We also have some other mixed news across the crypto space. Great to see everybody. What's going on? What's going on? We're going to get into all of that and more. We got a brand new member, Laurie Kist. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Noe, great to see you, Noe. Welcome back, my friend. Paul, how's it going, Paul? Great to see you, man. What's going on? What's going on? Jordan, what's going on, dude? Vadim is here. Great to see you, Vadim. Always looking good. Big Shrimp. What's up, Big Shrimp? Billy. His name is Billy, kind of like Wally. What's up, Billy? Great to see you. What's up? What's up? From Des Moines. We got somebody here from Des Moines. Is that Des Moines? Is that Iowa? Is it Des Moines, Iowa? I'm not too familiar with the center of the United States and all the great states, but we got a ton of people coming in. Just Maui here, pumped this weekend. I don't know, man. We're having a little bit of mixed messaging in the market. We're gonna take a look at all of this stuff. It is a little nerve-wracking. One day up, one day down. It doesn't feel like the market knows what it wants to do. But let's just jump into some of this stuff. Man, I just love everybody checking in and where they're checking in from. Great to see you all. Have we seen Ariana yet today? Is she here? Oh, yes, she is. I see her. Okay, I just want to make sure we have the commander in chief with us. You know, we can't start without her. Nicole's here. Great to see you, Nicole. Vince checking in. Brian checking in. OSOK, Colorado in the house. All right, UK baby. Oh, I love it, man. I love it when people are excited about where they live. All right, guys, if you want to share the space or like the space, retweet the space, whatever you want to do, I appreciate your support. Let's just get into this information because I know your time is valuable. So let me just pull this up real quick. Just taking a look at the market, it's rough out. It's rough outside. Excuse me. Bitcoin down 5.47%. Ethereum is struggling to kind of just stay afloat here. $3,800 for Ethereum. XRP is at $2.32. Man, that is crazy. Solana is at $1.83. Cardano 62 cents for Cardano. Chainlink's at $16. Stellar is actually up at 31 cents here. Stellar at 30 cents here, guys. You're kind of crazy if you're not looking at this as an opportunity, in my personal opinion. Sui's at 244. Let's see here. Rounding out the top 50 here. Got some other stuff. Most of the market is down. There is definitely some buying happening. Ondo, look at Ondo, 70 cents for Ondo, man. I didn't think we'd be able to see Ondo under $1 again. It is at 70 cents. Incredible. All right. I did see this, listen, there is a lot of frustrated people with what happened in the market. Okay. And, I just want to take a second here and talk about this. All right. If your infrastructure is responsible for billions of dollars in losses for your customers, you need to refund or issue those customers the money back, right? You need to accept responsibility. Now, this last week, I've seen CZ coming out and bragging on X that they're giving $400 million to back to people. And actually, somebody that is in my community is having trouble getting their money back from Binance. And so I want to touch on this really quickly because I feel like there's some weird stuff going on here, and it's not right. Okay, so I'm seeing this regulatory pressure incoming. Binance is under French money laundering investigations. I did take a look to see, is this true? Yes, as of mid-October 2025, Binance is under active investigation by French financial authorities for money laundering compliance shortcomings. I also wanted to show you this. Hold on, where is it? So my friend is trying to get a refund. He lost $20,000 on Binance due to liquidations. Now, Binance is asking him to send a video of the collapse and him losing money. So who is actively recording? Like, who recorded the collapse as it was happening, watching their positions go to nothing, right? Like, some of these things that they're asking people to do, like, you have the information, right? The trade was on your network, on your exchange. You know that the trade got liquidated because of your infrastructure wasn't up to what it should be. So instead of offering a solution, they're telling this person, oh, sorry, we cannot help you. This is what Binance's response is. They go out and they publicly say that, oh, we're going to give people their money back. But truth be told, behind the scenes, they're doing everything they can to not give people their money back. That is not right. That is not right. That is how you lose customers. That is how you lose market share. All right. So listen, if anybody knows how they can help my friend here, send me an email. Is there any way? I don't use Binance. Is there any way that my friend is able to go back in history in his Binance account and somehow pull up a chart and record his position being liquidated? I don't know. So if there's anybody that has information that can help, can you email me? My email will be in the description of this video. All right. Let me see some of your comments here. Yeah, dude, look, let's take a look at CZ's comments. Let's pull him up, man. Let's pull him up. Let's put him on blast, man. Because I've been seeing some of the stuff that he's been saying, and it's just, man, it's just making my stomach turn here. Let me see. Putting donations. Look, putting the donations to good use, reward high quality contributors, right? So they're giving money out. You know, they're acting like they're the saviors of the industry when they're part of the problem, man. Let me see. Can I find CZ's thing talking, like bragging about how much money FUD is paid? Let me see here. I wasn't really going to get into this, but like my friend messaged me right as I was coming on. And I want to see how I can help my friend here, because I'm sure there's other people who are having trouble getting their money back from Binance. And anyways, you know, they're giving, you know, they're sending BNB to people. They're trying to, you know, fix what their thing broke. I don't know, man. I don't know. I saw a lot of tweets from CZ answering people, bragging about how much money that they're giving back to the community. But I don't know, guys. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Sensei, greetings from Venezuela. Lately, I'm holding XRP. Lately, I'm scared of holding my XRP. Is that part of the plan? Do you recommend HODL until the end? Miguel, so like, you know, you gotta take some responsibility on kind of what you do or don't want to do in this crypto space. I know it's uncomfortable to see stuff go up and down so rapidly. And, you know, the crypto space is going to be like that for a little bit of time longer until we can actually get a lot more liquidity, you know, where some of these events don't affect the market as much. But right now you're going to get this uncomfortableness, and I can understand where you're coming from. The recent events in the crypto market do not reflect the technology that we are investing in. Okay. Now, if you need investment advice, you need to talk to a financial advisor, right? If you just want my random opinion, I see this as an opportunity. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in the crypto market in the next week or 2 months, and what outside factors like wars or trade wars, whatever it is going to affect that. I have no idea, but I do know the technology speaks for itself. I do know that the technology is rapidly being implemented into our entire financial system, right? And we are going to have these ups and downs. We are going to have more black swan events. We are going to feel more uncomfortable, right? If you're worried about your money fluctuating, stable coins, right? If you're worried about stable coins, you need to go into whatever it is currency that you feel is going to do it. But I am not selling my XRP because of, you know, Binance not having their proper technology to handle a liquidity crash, right? That is not something that I am prepared to do. I think you need to just take a deep breath, look at the actual developments in the market, And I think you'll come to the right decision here on what's probably best for your future. All right. I can't tell you what to do, but it's nothing to do with the technology. All right. Nothing like any serious that has happened in the past. So obvious. Yeah. Like this is going to happen again, guys. You know, we in the live streams, if you sit there for the 2 hours, we often bring up black swan events. And we know it was a long time since we had some type of serious event that happened in the market. And this one was one of the worst. It was the worst liquidation event in history. 10 times worse than COVID, 10 times worse than FTX. Unexcusable. But it doesn't change the actual underlying use cases of the technology. All right. All right, man. I hope you're well, Miguel. All right, let's just jump into this. We got through the Binance stuff. Listen, guys, one more time. If anyone knows how to get their money back with this Binance stuff, please send me an email. Anyone who's willing to help or share their knowledge to help my friend get their money back, I would be internally grateful. And I know my friend who, you know, that's a lot of money for him. I know he would be very grateful. If anybody has any tips or tricks or contacts or anything, please let me know. I'd really appreciate it. All right, let's get back to this. So if you haven't seen, there is a big IMF event here. There's a lot of people from the IMF talking all kinds of things with crypto, digital finance, blockchain. I've made a bunch of videos over the last few days on some of this. Let me go ahead and play this clip for you because I think it's really important.
Discussion. Omar Farouk is the co-head of global payments at JP Morgan. George. All
right, hold on.
And applause. The IMF.
All right, here, Christina Georgieva. You got somebody here from the JP Morgan. Jeremy Allaire is right there as well. A lot of people here.
Jeremy Allaire is the CEO and founder of Circle.
Thank you.
All right.
And it's really great that we have everybody here because I think everybody comes from a very different perspective. We've got the stable coins and the traditional old school banks and the central bankers and the IMF and the World Bank. So it's really great for us to talk about the future of finance, crypto, regulations, opportunities, risks. Managing Director Georgieva, is the future of finance crypto?
The question is the future of finance crypto? Listen one more time because, I mean, Miguel was asking, like, you know, what he should do with his XRP. Should he sell and get out? The head of the IMF is about to tell you how important the technology is. Just listen.
Director Georgieva, is the future of finance crypto?
The future of finance, for sure, is digital. We know that digitalization is moving very rapidly. We know from history that finance is very quick to take advantage of technology. Remember the telegraph? Telegraph comes, it impacts finance. Internet, it impacts finance. Now we have a technology, the technology that makes it possible to get blockchain to underpin finance, and I am convinced that we would see a bigger role in the future. I want to make three.
All right. And then I did a video earlier. She's going to get into a 6-minute long conversation about the points that she wants to make about all of this. If you're interested in that clip, it'll probably be in the content that gets released tomorrow. I've been creating all kinds of content recently. There's so much stuff in the news. Man, Christina Georgieva is telling you the future of finance is blockchain. I don't know what else, like how else I can spell it out to you. That is the head of the IMF telling you that the future of all of this is blockchain. All right. So first of all, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate you. Luna, appreciate you. The question here from the Versatile is, do you think Ripple will end up buying Circle? It seems like Ripple is trying to control a lot of stuff. So interesting question. So we're talking about controlling a business-to-business infrastructure for stablecoin payments. That's what you're talking about here, okay? And so Circle controls 18 to 20% right now of business-to-business stablecoin payments. Tether is another like 15. Ripple bought Rail, which represents 10. And then you have a few other companies that represent the rest of it, right? There's not a lot of infrastructure for stablecoin, business-to-business stablecoins. And so could Ripple spend, $6 billion, $10 billion buying Circle? They probably could do that, but Do they need to? I don't think so. I think there's other pieces that they could pick up a lot cheaper than Circle. I think there's always going to be a good, healthy competition. I think Circle is kind of off to the races and doing what they want to do. I don't see their board, settling and selling for a few $billions here, where Circle could be worth hundreds of billions of dollars in the next 10 years, right? So I think you have to kind of understand that there's going to be a board and advisory, and those people would make a decision if the offer came in. I don't think Ripple right now is looking at Circle. I think they're looking at expanding their infrastructure to truly compete with the JP Morgans of the world. I just made a video earlier on the pieces Ripple's still missing to do that. And I find the topic extremely interesting. But let me know what you think about the comment there. And I don't think they're focused on buying them right now, but you never know in the future. Ripple does need a few other pieces of the puzzle. If you're interested in what those pieces are, though, I could probably pull this up. Let me see. Let me just ask you, are you guys interested for me to go into this right now? Do you want me to take a second and do this? Let me see here. I'll wait for you guys to tell me if you're interested. Inside info is that Ripple was not allowed to purchase Circle. They weren't willing to buy it or pay the price. Could be, man. I mean, you got to think about it. Maybe that's why Ripple bought Rail, right? For $200 million. That's also a better buy when you think about it. Circle does have a lot of infrastructure. They represent 18 to 20%. Ripple was able to swallow up 10% of global business to business payments for 200 million, right? 200 million compared to 6 billion, 8 billion, right? So if Ripple can make a few more strategic moves, maybe they find another 5% or another 10%, they would control 20% of the world's payments, business to business stablecoin payments. And there's not a lot of infrastructure. I saw Coinbase working towards trying to buy one of the companies that represents, I think, 7%. Let's see here. Laser T5, always providing important information. Tip, well done. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for the donation. It really goes a long way. Try to get Luna as many great treats as I possibly can, and you guys are a huge help for that. Ras says, hey, Robert, just wanted to say, don't get involved in the puppet show of real world issues here. All part of the plan, create fear. Are we talking about, what are we talking about? I haven't said anything about that stuff yet. So what are we talking about, Raz? Are we talking about Binance? Checking in from Melbourne, Australia. Brendan Fuchs, nice to see you, man. Let's see here. Murray says, you see South Korea being passive aggressive with JP Morgan because South Korea uses Ripple? Well, I think a large part of the South Korean economy right now, right? A lot of people in South Korea own XRP. I think I've seen some crazy numbers that like 25% of retail XRP is owned by South Koreans. Hard to like exactly verify that data. But I think South Korea understands the importance of blockchain technology, and the people of South Korea are placing their bets, and XRP is one of the biggest bets in South Korea. It's actually often you'll find XRP is traded above Bitcoin on most days on some of the exchanges in South Korea. I think HBAR is HBAR future. I do think HBAR plays a pivotal role in the future of all this, the interconnectedness, the tokenization of assets. I think HBAR has a great future, man. I mean, if I had the time to dig into HBAR and Stellar and I could do news on all of these different things, but if I want to be one of the best people in the world at providing you XRP and Ripple news, I just need to commit to that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that until we head to Valhalla. I'm okay with that. You need a new Sensei group. I like it here. Seems like real info, not bullshit. I'll stick around. I appreciate that. Well, there's a few ways that you can, like, if you're interested, I can tell you this. So one of the ways, I do have a private community. I don't talk about it too much. Recently, it is called Cryptonaires. There is a lot of sharing of information, like-minded people looking for opportunities in the blockchain space outside of like your XRPs and XLMs. I do share a lot of like my thoughts and what's going on with the market. That is, I believe, like 90 something bucks a month if you're interested in that, taking that step. There's also, if you're interested in becoming a member of the channel at a $10 increments, there's a $10 and a $20. You do get access to some of my research. You do get access to a video a day, ad-free, and sometimes uploaded early. So there is multiple ways if you want to be a part of me and the community. All good, though. But thank you for being here and hanging out with us. Hey Sensei, been talking to you on X, or someone that claims to be. Yeah, Charles, you're not talking to me. You're not talking to me. So guys, just make sure, please. There's going to be people that pretend that they are me. This is very simple to find out if you're actually talking to me or you're not talking to me. The person who's DMing you on X, just click on the profile and make sure it's my profile, right? I have a blue check mark. I have 63,000 followers here on X. I am not going to randomly DM anybody. Just not what I'm spending my days doing. So you're probably talking to a scammer. Stop talking to them, right? Block them. All right. So William says XRP will go up after the government shutdown. There's a lot of people, there is the view that ETFs will not get approved during the government shutdown. And so we are like, what, the 18th is tomorrow, right? We're supposed to have some type of information on the first decision. Will we get anything? It doesn't feel like we will, but you could be right. You could be right, man. Ed, what's up? Great to see you, man. Thank you for being a member of the channel. I appreciate you. Lizard King, great to see you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Chase put on a party shorts. Get ready for XRP party. All right, here, let's jump into this. Yeah, please be safe out here. I did want to show you this because this is big news. I did get a little distracted in my head. I just want to touch base on this. If you're interested in me kind of going deeper on stable coins and things like that, we can have that conversation, but let me get through some of this. Okay, so this was the biggest news today, right? If you weren't around this morning, Ripple is leading an effort to raise $1 billion to accumulate new XRP. What this actually means, let me get into it. Ripple Labs is leading an effort to raise at least $1 billion. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I am. $1 billion for a new digital asset treasury, also known as a DAT. You're familiar with DATs because you've seen, your MicroStrategies of the world and your BitMines of the world. Is it Bitmain? Let me just go through this. Focused on accumulating XRP with the funds planned to be housed on a special purpose acquisition company structure. This move is particularly notable because it comes not just days after the crypto market crash and volatility, signaling Ripple's intent to expand its influence and liquidity for XRP in spite of the overall market headwinds. Ripple's DAT aims to become the largest XRP-focused treasury ever, channeling institutional and strategic funding directly into XRP purchases. The fundraising utilizes a special purpose acquisition company, a structure typically used in traditional finance to pool capital for target acquisitions and projects. Ripple itself will contribute some of its own XRP holdings to seed this treasury, demonstrating its ongoing confidence in XRP. So listen, there's a few options here, right? Ripple has escrowed XRP that gets unlocked. They could decide to start issuing some of that towards this. They could buy fresh XRP off the open market if they really wanted to. They've done that in the past as well. And then also, I think this is a great way to show other institutions how serious Ripple is about XRP. And think about it. If you are a financial institution that is also looking at doing some type of XRP related treasury company, whether it's a special purpose company or whatever it is, this will put some pressure on those companies to speed up what they're doing, right? Because if Ripple's out here raising billions of dollars to buy XRP and to support the ecosystem, that is going to, put pressure on other companies that want to do just that. So I think this is really great to see. Ripple is continuing to push their strategic goals here in the XRP space and support the ecosystem. And then, even Bloomberg is reporting on this. Bloomberg Business, Ripple Labs is leading an effort to raise $1 billion to accumulate more XRP. And then also, Vincent Van Code said, it's great, Ripple is buying XRP, but you may ask yourself, why would they when they have over 30 billion in escrow? They can easily access 500 million XRP each month. Well, that's the exciting part. Ripple is building confidence in XRP and using this SPAC to put upward demand pressure to open market. They will extract the XRP, either injecting into operations, escrowing it, or simply holding it in SPAC and the treasury. So this could be another way for Ripple to buy fresh XRP, right? We talk, the Jake Clavers of the world say that there's only a few billion XRP left on exchanges. If Ripple is raising several $1 billion here, right, $1 billion could be the start. if Ripple gets partners and other institutions to come in here, they're raising 5 billion, 10 billion, 25 billion to support XRP. Think about how much XRP is going to be sucked off exchanges. You throw in the ETF mix, guys, this could get pretty juicy. I'm liking this. I'm really, really liking this. Aloha Sensei, it must be an acronym Friday. DATs, SPACs, I don't know, man. You know, it just works out like that. You know, you don't plan it. You don't plan it. You just let life, you know, it's just going to vibe and be here, my friend. It's going to vibe and be here. Let's see here. Kirk says, Sensei, I saw online Ripple is using the Cosmos network for EVM. Do you have any information on this? I think you're talking about, hold on. I always get Axelar and ArcX. Hold on. Give me a second. I think you're talking about ArcX. One second here. Hold on. Let me just pull this up. I just want to make sure I'm giving you. Hold on. I think I have it. I just don't want to give you the wrong information here. Let me pull this up. Ripple's EVM sidechain built on Cosmos SDK framework, developing collaboration with Axelar. There you go. I don't know why my brain always gets ArcX and Axelar confused. I don't know what it is. Maybe because the names are very close to it. But yes, through the Axelar network, they've built this. But yes, that is going to allow them to basically bring over any EVM compatible ecosystem to the XRP ledger. It's a really big deal. We talked about it a few months ago when it happened. I appreciate you, Anonymous. Thank you so much, man. Love you. Thank you for your support. Yes, the banking license is an important piece to all this. You know what? I really want to show you my research from earlier. Let me see if I can get it for you guys. I think you guys would enjoy this. Seriously. I went down like just a big rabbit hole the last few days trying to understand. Okay, well, first, let me set this up. First, I need to go through the G Treasury sniff. Okay, hold on. Let's back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Give me a second here. Okay, let's talk about this, and then I'll get into this. Okay, let's talk about this because this is a big deal. I don't think people realize how big of a deal this is. But let me enlighten you on what I think about this. Okay, so this was yesterday. I did a video about this. It came out yesterday. Ripple is breaking into the $120 trillion corporate treasury payments market with a $1 billion acquisition of G Treasury. Basically, Ripple spent $1 billion to acquire a company called G Treasury. The reason this is important, let me show you. Oh, wait, hold on. This is on DATs. Let me show you this, okay? So this is also interconnected with SWIFT and 13,000 banks. This is also connected to one of the 1,000 different corporate clients. This is also connected to BNY Mellon, Treasury Liquidity Direct. Check this out. This is another collaboration here or infrastructure that Ripple is going to have for BNY Mellon. How this all works is people place trades through the GT using investment template, G Treasury. BNY receives trade instructions via template, invests in investments for the amount specified in the template. Once GT receives a trade confirmations, your portfolio is updated and initiates settlement instructions, BNY for the investments or the redemption. So more infrastructure for BNY and for Ripple. I did want to, let me get into this. No, this is not what I want. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull this up here. I'm going to play something for you while I pull up the information. No, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that. All right, I'm going to play this. This is a little off topic. When the market crashed on Friday last week, we did see Ethereum fees spike up dramatically. Let me play this and I'm going to pull in that research for you guys because I think you guys are really going to enjoy that.
Never happened. But now with the stimulus of the Genius Act, for the first time ever, people are starting to use it as a digital payment system. And in order to do that, you have to go on chain. You have to go on to the Ethereum or the Solana. You got to go on chain. You have to sell and buy on chain. So over the weekend, and the reason I bring it up, a concern that I've had for a long time, and I've seen it before, is that Ethereum, the biggest blockchain, if you think about ETH, and what's really stimulated it has been that maybe 30% of all transactions on stablecoins are being settled on Ethereum or transferred on Ethereum or paid on Ethereum. But over the weekend, when we had real volatility for various reasons on crypto, Ethereum itself got stuck. It got overloaded, overcrowded. And the best analogy I can use for this is if you think about a single lane highway with a toll booth. Ethereum is a single lane highway and all the cars are transactions on it, but they have to go through the authentication toll booth out in the middle of nowhere. So they all have to drive through the toll booth, and it works fine when there's not massive volatility or massive volume. But when we had that occur, both massive volatility and massive volume on Saturday, it got stuck. There were too many cars on the highway. And so the cost of clearing one of those transactions, that's how you tell it's stuck, because you can buy your way to the front of the car line to get through the toll next to the fee. One of those transactions traded for more than $1,000. So imagine if you're buying something for $1.50 and you had to pay $1,000 to use Ethereum.
All right, I thought this was interesting because it really speaks to you where Ethereum is right now. It's not really built for institutional use just yet. Can you imagine doing all of the world's transactions through Ethereum right now? It would completely break. This is why the XRP ledger is poised for mass adoption, in my personal opinion. Let me just get to this really quickly because I did see this. Husker Nation, thank you so much for the donation. It says, I own multiple coins. With XRP being my anchor, how will we know when it's going to shoot to the moon? Would you convert from other coins once it starts shooting up to the moon, maximize profits? So listen, Husker, I can't really tell you what to do or not to do with your crypto. I can tell you that there's multiple strategies that I've heard play out by multiple people. One of the most popular strategies is to not sell the XRP, but to go out and take loans against the XRP through some type of either LLC or some type of company that you've set up. That is probably one of the most popular strategies that people have. Now, the other side of that is, you know, if it moons and you don't care about all of that, you don't want to go through, you don't want to create the business, you just want to sell your XRP and pay the taxes and move on. That's probably something that if you're going to do that, going into another token, I guess, you know, you'd have to figure out like what token are you going to, you're going to sell XRP to go into what, right? XRP, in my personal opinion, is the top of the mountain. And, you know, I personally don't think there's any other asset in the world that far exceeds what XRP's expectations are going to be globally over the next few years. The connections that Ripple has had, the connections and partnerships and infrastructure that Ripple has built, I think Ethereum only wishes they could be as popular to institutions as XRP and Ripple are. Now, Ethereum is going to be massively adopted. Don't get me wrong. I see probably $100,000 Ethereum over the next 10 to 20 years. I definitely think that's probably going to happen. A lot of stuff is still built on Ethereum and a lot of infrastructure is being built out. Going to, like, once you reach whatever your goal is, it's going to be your decision what you want to do with that. Now, you can go into stable coins and then that's how you bring that money into your account. But, there are people that say, if you don't have a whole lot of money in your bank account right now, right? And a lot of your money is invested in crypto. And one day you wake up and your crypto is worth $10 million, right? And if you go to try to transfer $5 million or $10 million into your bank account, your personal account, your bank's probably going to stop that transaction and figure like something's wrong here, right? So, this is the reason why a lot of people are going to go down this route of taking loans against their XRP, but you definitely would need to do a whole lot of due diligence to understand what the whole ramifications of that are before you do that, right? Anyways, thank you for the donation. Luna thanks you. I appreciate you, my friend. Okay, man, I saw another one of this. $2 euro. Sam Franklin Jones, has the government shut down, delayed the ETFs? Yes. Can they still be approved? They still could be, but it would be unheard of. In past government shutdowns, usually ETFs do not get approved. There have been some very random examples of things still being approved, but there is a limited staff there right now. Thank you for the donation. I hope that answers your question. We have 1,700 people watching today, guys. We have about 613 on X, 559 here on YouTube. If you could share the space, like the space, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm going to get into some very personal research that I was doing to better understand all this G Treasury stuff. If you guys don't mind, let me just jump back in here with you to show you how important this is and why I think this is a big deal. So, of course, anytime I get new XRP news, my brain just wants to go down a big rabbit hole to like fully understand this. So bear with me as I go through this information. I'm going to put myself down here in the bottom left so you can see everything much clearer. So first thing I wanted to do here is get a full breakdown of G Treasury, why it's important, what it does. So let's just better understand that together. Ripple's $1 billion acquisition of G Treasury marks a major expansion into the global corporate treasury market, a multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem that manages cash, liquidity, FX, and risk across the corporate world. G Treasury provides treasury management software, by CFOs, chief financial officers, and finance teams in over 160 countries, integrating cash forecasting, risk management, and debt investments, of course, hedge accounting and compliance across hundreds of banks. It's actually thousands. G Treasury is cloud-based treasury risk management system, also known as TRMS, that gives corporations full cash visibility, forecasting, and compliance controls across all accounts and markets. It's used by more than 1,000 corporate clients, including Fortune 500 firms, and connects data enterprise resource planning systems and global banks, creating unified view of liquidity in core solutions. So once again, this is cash and liquidity management. This is risk and FX exposure, debt investments and hedge accounting, real-time payments and automation, compliance and audit framework regulators, right? Ripple is going to bring in their technology of instant payments 24/7, 365, capital efficiency, of course, the digital asset adoption and how they can make these systems better. And of course, they get access to the repo markets through the hidden road connection as well. Now, getting to this a little deeper, I wanted to better understand what other companies are competing against Ripple now in this new space, this $120 trillion corporate treasury space. Like, what did Ripple step in here? So some of these companies you might have heard of, and some of these companies you probably don't know. There's three types of these treasury infrastructure companies. There's a traditional treasury system, there's the blockchain and custody asset solution, and then there's the hybrid treasury platforms. And so the traditional, you have Kyriba, FIS, SAP Treasury, Ion Group, and Copa. The blockchain version, you have Fireblocks, BitGo, Anchorage Digital. Some of these companies you definitely have heard of, Gnosis Safe. And then hybrid treasury platforms, you have QuantMatter, Zebic. I know there's a lot of Zebic fans in the community. CoinShift, and then a few other companies. So this is who Ripple's going to be competing with against now that they're in this space. And if we talk about how much value, right, corporate treasuries can be valued up to $145 trillion. It is a massive industry. This is where a lot of the world's money is. And now Ripple just stepped into it. Now, to take this a bit further, I wanted to fully understand how much could this affect our XRP, right? So the whole goal here has been, we need to move value on the XRP ledger. The more value that we can process on the XRP ledger, XRP's price will go up, right? So if we're doing 1 billion, doesn't really have that much effect. If we're doing 5 billion, 25 billion, 100 billion, this is where XRP's price will start to come up. So what is exactly that we're talking about here? So you have two companies now, right? Oh, hold on. Let me see. Is this the right one? Oh, wait, hold on. This is not the right one. Sorry. Excuse me. This is the right one. I wasn't planning to talk about this, so I do apologize if I'm a little back to front here. Okay, let me set this up. Hidden Road was the first, one of the first acquisitions Ripple did in 2025. They paid $1.25 billion for Hidden Road. Hidden Road moves about $3 to $3.5 trillion a year. That's about $8 to $10 billion a day. Okay, so here you go. All right, so you have 8 to 10 billion. Let's just use 10 billion because it's an easier round number. 10 billion for Hidden Road per day. And then you also have 34 billion for G Treasury. G Treasury moves $12.5 trillion a year. You have 34 billion and 10 billion is $44 billion a day in clearing. That would give you annual volume of 11 to 15 trillion dollars per year. And that alone would take you to a $20 XRP. Okay, just these things. Just the clearing and the settlement of all of this value on the XRP ledger would bring you to this price. Now, I know you're going to say, Sensei, why are we at this price now? Well, they just bought the company yesterday, right? The infrastructure needs to be hooked up and they need to start using the XRP ledger for this clearing. But just to give you some examples here, if we can get to 25 or 30 trillion a year, which is 70 to 85 billion a day, that's $50. And if we can get to around $150 billion a day, that could be $100 XRP. Now, this is not considering circulating supply or available supply or ETFs or any of that stuff. This is just clearing and settlement using XRP. Okay. Now I wanted to show you this, right? Okay. So here was what I was looking for. So here's G Treasury, 34 billion a day, 12.5 trillion a year. Here's Hidden Road, right? So this is where I got the 44 billion number. 34 plus 10 billion a day equals, right? This right here. Okay. This is actually over. So this should be like 23, 20, 22, $23. So obviously Ripple needs to use the XRP ledger for this settlement. And if they do, the price should appreciate. Now, just to give you some comparison, because everyone always talks about these crazy numbers for XRP. If, this is just something I wanted to know personally, this is not like something I wanted for the video, but since we're here, I'm just going to go through it anyways. I wanted to better understand the DTCC, how much in clearing and settlement they're doing per day. And if XRP was used even to do 1% of that, what could that mean for XRP price? Just to give you some ideas here. So the settlement for the DTCC, ladies and gentlemen, we do know that they've been moving to blockchain for quite some time. We do know that they have patents that have Ripple and they have XRP and XLM on them, we do believe that XRP and Stellar are going to play a part in some way here. So 1% of $7 trillion a day would give you a $70 per XRP. This is just by itself. Okay. Now $11 trillion a day would, 1% of 11 trillion would give you 110. So if you start to clear a large portion of the DTCC, this is where price can get pretty stupid, right? 25% would give you 17, 27, $3,500 per XRP. And then of course, if you used it for the settlement, you'd be talking about a really ridiculous price. But I'm just trying to give you some examples. If Ripple can pick up some of Swift's volume, if Ripple can pick up some FedNow volume, these are the types of things that we could get to hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars a day in settlement. And this is where price appreciation truly could come from. All right. All right. I just wanted to get all that out. I know that was a lot to just go through, but I hope you're off your rocker. They won't let retail on. So like here, this is what people don't understand. This is what people really don't understand. Do you think elites care about 2 million people that own XRP? There are people that get rich every single day by investing in technology. Some by accident, some by purpose. Do you think there's somebody in a back room saying, we're going to prevent this group of people from becoming rich? Like, who's got the time? All we could do is look at facts. I can't tell you what somebody is or isn't doing in a back room somewhere. I can tell you the facts that blockchain technology is being adopted to replace the entire financial system. And Ripple and XRP are in every single meeting that matters. They are preparing their infrastructure to compete with JP Morgan Swift. And if you don't think that's a big deal, I get it. You should probably move on to something that you feel is important in your life. But saying that I'm off my rocker because they're not going to let retail win, did they let people who owned Bitcoin in 2009, they let those people become rich? What's the difference? Are those elites better than these different people? I don't think so. I think there's some holes in your argument that I would just disagree with, my friend. Spicy. Let's get into it. 100 XRP 5 years from now will make you a millionaire. Paul Gaines. Pop that collar, Paul. I like it. I like it, Paul. That's spicy. So my man says, I think the sell-off was coordinated and negative sentiment is being driven by bots and get retail out of the space. I have heard this multiple times actually by people, and you could be absolutely right. Listen, let's say everything is a conspiracy. Okay. Let's say it's all a conspiracy and they want to shake retail out before this massive reset and this massive move into blockchain. One of the best places to do that is what they just did. Okay. So we can say that it was all planned. We can say that it was because of Binance or because of an insider. I don't know. We just don't know. But do you really want to take the risk of not, like, this is the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. You're not going to get another opportunity ever at what you're experiencing right now. This is a once in, 500 years, whatever it is, I want to say like once in a generation, but it's probably longer than that. Right? This is a complete restructuring of the entire system. Quadrillions of dollars in settlement value moving to blockchain pretty much overnight. If you listen, like I played a clip from, I believe she's the head innovation officer at Franklin Templeton. And she said something really interesting. I'm trying to remember the exact quote. Let me see if I can actually find that actually. Let me see if I can find that exact. I don't want to misquote her. Hold on. Franklin Templeton. Let me see if I can find that clip for you. Because I played that, I don't know, it was like a week or two ago. That was a really, really great clip. I'm trying to, oh yes. This is the lady. Hold on. I need the full clip though. Oh, let me just get her name. What's her name? Hold on. Who is the head of innovation at Franklin Templeton? All right, 1 second. This one, Sandy Cole. No, it's not Sandy Cole. It's the woman. Hold on. Is her name Sandy Cole? Sandy Cole. Let me see. Is this her? I think this is her. Let me see. Yes. Okay, I need the full clip though. No.
For our listeners who are investors.
I think this is the clip. Bear with me though. Let me play this one and let me keep searching.
Who are investors in the space, what would be your advice to them in terms of what they should be watching over for the rest of this year to give them insight and give them the confidence and conviction that they need in their crypto investments?
Yeah, so I have to say this to myself every day too. So this is advice I give myself, Jay, is stay calm, stay patient, right? As we've just discussed, the setup for what is coming is powerful. It's so powerful that if you wait until it's happening, you're going to be chasing returns that you are probably perfectly positioned to get today, right? So just be patient. The other thing I always try and remind myself is, even with all the excitement that has built over the past 18 months with crypto and the markets being at record highs in many cases, we've only seen the amount of money in the crypto markets increase from 3 to 4 trillion, right? There is $100 trillion of money invested in the broader set of assets that are today not on crypto rails. Again, just think if 10% of that money moves into crypto and token-based investments, we are increasing the size of the crypto markets by 2.5x, right? So be patient, because the wall of money is going to come, and you do not want to have liquidated and stepped aside before that wall of money hits. Be patient. Sit back, sit tight, trust that all of these developments are leading to inevitable behavioral outcomes.
All right, that was a great clip, but that's not the clip I was talking about. Hold on.
Firmly believe that blockchain and these protocols are going to be the future utilities for the entire world, right? I don't believe in 15 years, 20 years, any organization, company, government, small business.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let's take a breath here, okay? Whatever you're doing in your life, if you're driving or you're doing laundry, whatever it is, just take a second and turn up your volume. listen to this. Okay. Listen, this is so important. All right. Don't get this wrong. Listen to what she's saying here. This is 2 minutes. It's going to change your life.
We firmly believe that blockchain and these protocols are going to be the future utilities for the entire world, right? I don't believe in 15 years, 20 years, any organization, company, government, small business, individual, none of us are going to keep our own books and records, right? This is going to all be on public blockchain. These L1s and L2s that are out today, they are becoming, to us, the utility ledgers for the entire world. And so we are moving our whole...
Excuse me. Let me back that up 1 second here. And then I'll stop.
Ledgers for the entire world. To us, the utility ledgers for the entire world. And so we are moving our whole thinking towards this infrastructure, which means no more accounts, all wallet-based. We believe that the entire future is going to be operated out of cryptographically protected wallets. And that means that every asset that sits in that wallet is going to be either a digitally native asset, a cryptocurrency, or a tokenized asset. And therefore, they are going to be interoperable. They're going to be commingled. They're going to have greater utility. They're going to settle instantly. They are going to be able to be easily transferred, and they're going to be able to be pledged in terms of collateral or liquidity pools or staking pools. There's going to be so much more that we believe people are going to be able to do with their assets. And so what we're doing is we're really building our future state infrastructure inside of our current infrastructure. And so we have committed to wallets, and we have committed to this idea that products in the future are going to be digitally native. Most of our asset manager peers at this point are still working on this premise that blockchain is going to supplement their current account-based, mainframe-based systems. And so they're content using digital twins. But we don't feel that digital twins fulfill the true purpose and utility of the blockchain, and they don't have nearly the same number of use cases. So I think that's the biggest difference. And then I think just the earliness of our journey and the fact that we've been engaged with not just the SEC, but a global set of regulators for going on 7 full years now. And so we've built up a lot of trust, and we've gotten a lot of permissions to do things that no other asset manager has. So,
all right, you know what? I mean, I don't really know how to like lay all this out for you. I mean, she basically told you the whole game right there. She basically told you the whole game right there. It's up to you if you want to take the head of innovation at Franklin Templeton, $1.7 trillion under asset management. If you want to take them seriously or not, right? It's up to you guys. Like I cannot convince you of something. You have to take the research in. You have to believe it. You have to understand it, and we'll get there together. Yo, Paulo here, listening to you from the plane right now. My plane Wi-Fi sucks. Hey man, sorry that we couldn't get together. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. My one of the people in my community was here for like I think he was running like a triathlon or something crazy on a different island. He came over here yesterday. We were gonna meet up, but wife got stuck at work for I don't know. She got home at like 7:30 or something, and usually by like 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm just toast. I couldn't leave Luna alone. Luna's been having her problem, like her seizure stuff, and so. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I hope you have a safe flight, and I owe you one. All right. Somebody asked a question, and thank you for the donation. I appreciate you. Somebody asked a question. Rob, I saw this as I was going through all this, so I just want to address your question. Senator Kennedy said today that he predicts the Congress needs 2 years to figure out policy for crypto. Anyone else believe him? Yes, he's absolutely right. It'll take at least 2 years, 100%. Yeah. Let me just break it down for you. So once legislation gets signed, like once Trump signs the law, like once Congress passed it, the Senate needs to do what they're going to do. If they make a bunch of changes, it has to go back to the House for a final approval, final vote. But if they don't make changes, it'll go right to the president's desk. The hard part is what most people don't understand is the rulemaking process that happens after legislation is passed, and that usually takes a few years. I'll give you two examples, one in the US, one outside of the US, one directly speaking to crypto, one not. So during the great financial crisis in 2008, coming out of that was the Dodd-Frank Act that was approved by Congress to help prevent something like that from not happening again. That legislation was passed and took over 3 years for all the rules to get enacted. So that did take quite some time. Now, if you look at our neighbors in Europe, when they passed MiCA, right, the markets bill, the crypto markets bill called MiCA. I can't remember the acronym. I do apologize. Markets and infrastructure. Anyway, when they passed it in, I think it was April 2023. It didn't go into effect until the end of 2024. The reason is regulators have to do all of that rulemaking, and that is going to take some time. All right. What are we talking about? What was brutal? We all good? Man, people either love or hate XRP. It's so good. You know, it's good to have these conversations though. Like, it's good to ask questions. It's good to not believe, right? It's good to verify. You have to do that in life, right? And like, I think when I first got into the crypto space, I was relying heavily on other people's opinions, right? And something shifted inside of me where I needed to go out and get this information myself. Like, I needed to be tapped into the source, not just listening through somebody else's lens, but physically connecting with the information. And that's when kind of things really opened up for my understanding of how important the crypto space was. It took one XRP video to get me interested, and it took 5 years of researching crypto every day to get to the place I am today. So if you're just now starting, right? I know it's a lot. There's a lot of things coming at you. It gets easier with time, you know, and you know, you're here at the right time. You're definitely here at the right time. What's your game for, let's see here. Dalen, Mr. Gonzalez says, what's the end game for buying 1 billion worth of your own coin? Well, I mean, isn't that what your micro strategies and your Bitmines do? Is it Bitmine? Hold on. Let me see. 1 second. List. Let me see. Let me pull this up. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. All right. Let's just be brutally honest here. The DAT companies for Ethereum are as follows. The Ether Machine, Bit Digital, you got Consensus, Exodus. There's a lot of just different DAT companies. And then, of course, for Bitcoin, the most notable one is MicroStrategy, Galaxy Digital Holdings, and a few others, right? Some of these have been very successful. Some of them haven't been very successful, but you got to start somewhere, right? And I think Ripple is really getting the ball rolling. They're seeing an opportunity in the market with XRP priced at what it is. In my opinion, I think they see value. And I think they're trying to spruce up more institutional demand for XRP. And also, I imagine, like me personally, looking at this as a business decision, we're not in the meetings. We don't know what their discussions are. But if there are other companies having similar discussions about, building DATs or, related treasury companies, this might push them forward to start doing it. It'll give more demand for the token. And Ripple has bought XRP off the open market, right? They bought billions of XRP off the open market when it was much cheaper. It's not so crazy that they think it has extreme value. If there's anybody on the planet who knows what XRP's value is going to be over the next few years, probably be the company that's building all their technology on top of it. So I say it's a great sign personally. I like it. I mean, we can have the discussion. Is it good? Is it bad? I mean, it's going to give more demand for XRP, more news coverage, more people talking about it, more videos and content. I mean, I think it's good, man. Hey, Sensei, you should sign off with LZs over the rainbow. You need to cool off. Some of your other counterparts over the rainbows are certainly fitting, right? I don't know what we're talking about. Is there some spicy stuff going on in the chat? I cannot read all the chat. Do I think Trump went to the Middle East to set the rails? I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea what they're doing. But I do know that if you're going to replace the whole financial system, that you're going to have meetings and agreements and all of these things. You start to look at who's invited to these meetings, right? If we believe that they are resetting the financial system, they're moving all of this stuff to blockchain, who is in the actual meetings? Your Circles, your Coinbases, your Ripples, those are the companies that pay most attention to, in my personal opinion. Yeah, XRP's desired price is 10K. I don't think that's crazy. I think if XRP was built for a purpose, if XRP is able to facilitate that purpose, I don't think a $10,000 XRP is crazy. I don't think at all. I mean, people thought $100,000 Bitcoin was crazy, right? Then it happened. And Bitcoin's not really used for institutional demand. It's not used for global payment rails. It's not used for the $120 trillion treasury market. It's not used for the repo market. It's not used for the money market funds, right? Repo market is 12 trillion. Money market funds is 7.4 trillion. Corporate treasury market is 120 trillion. You see where we're going here, right? Is there some spicy stuff going on in the chat, I guess, today? Listen, I think we're all very passionate about the things that we believe in. And you just got to remember that we're kind of all on the same side here, right? We're all trying to just get to a place where, we don't have to worry about, bills and other things. I did see this video. This was a little disturbing. I'm going to play this for you. I don't know what you guys think about this. This is the Pfizer CEO, Albert Bourla, announces a new electronic tracking pill. So basically, the pharmacy will know if you take your medication or not. This is a little weird.
FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Yikes. Take your tablet. Yikes. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be lining up for that. Kendall Tanner, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Great to see you, dude. Hope you're doing well. Are we talking about Izzy's? I do live on Oahu. Izzy's. Hold on. Oh, you're talking about the singer. I thought it was like a restaurant you're talking about. Oh, Over the Rainbow. Okay. It's clicking now. I got it. Here. He did have a beautiful voice. Good to see you, Kendall. How about you give them a suppository? Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I would want my insurance company knowing when I am or not taking a certain medication. That's a little too, I think it's a bridge too far for me. I don't know anybody that's going to be lining up for that. But you know what they're going to say, right? They're going to say, if you want the medication, you have to take this version. And that's a whole nother conversation about privacy, right? Scary. All right, let's just take a look at like what's going on. Total crypto liquidations have now hit 1.2 billion over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin alone has seen nearly 500 million of liquidations today. The U.S. government is now on track to shut down for more than 40 days, the longest shutdown in history. I think the last longest shutdown was like 35 days. Yeah, right there, right in front of me, Robert. This would break the record of the last 35 days that happened in 2019, I believe, under the Trump administration as well. Another day, another record. U.S. technology stocks now reflect a record 38% of the total U.S. stock market cap. This percentage has doubled since 2020. For context, this percentage peaked at 33% during the 2000 .com bubble. So like we're higher than that. Meanwhile, global tech stocks, U.S. make up 12% of the global market. This percentage is still below the 2021 and 2000 highs. U.S. tech is absolutely massive right now. There's also this growing issue of margin debt is skyrocketing. Let's just talk about this. In September 2025, U.S. investors took another $67 billion in margin debt, bringing the total record to $1.13 trillion. Meanwhile, 5 times leverage ETFs have been proposed to the SEC. That's exactly what we need, more leverage in the system, right? Investors' leverage have nearly doubled over the last 2 years. This marks a similar pace to the rise seen following the 2020 pandemic. As a percentage of GDP, margin debt now sits just below 2021 peaks. Needless to say, risk appetite is arguably the strongest it's ever been. Everyone who wants a piece of the AI revolution, U.S. households' allocation to equities hit a record 52%. Now this surpasses the 2000 peak of 48%. And by four percentage points, this percentage is twice as high as the 2008 low. Americans are piling into the stock market. You start to wonder when this is all going to have an adjustment, you know, and what that's going to be like. This is a really long thread. You know what? I'm just going to post this thread. If you guys want to take a look at that in your spare time, please do that. Man, I appreciate you reposting the stream, GC. Thank you so much for doing that, man. All right, there's a few other things I want to talk about here. Let me just get into it. I'll get into some of your questions. It does look like President Trump will be meeting China's president in 2 weeks. I think we'll be fine with China, Trump says. So we'll hopefully that will be fine. You do get a little nervous. Oh, I did see this too. You guys see this? I mean, this is a very short clip, but Ripple, the new Europe stablecoin, is now live. Schumann Financial
started to work together with the Ripple team, particularly because it's a company that has a lot of experience since maybe 10 years or more. Finance is not going anywhere, and we want to be the clear leader on the European on-chain side.
All right. There's like a 3-minute video, but I'm not going to play it. Hey, Sensei, Bitcoin is digital gold. XRP is digital oil powering the financial system. You could kind of look at it. I mean, digital gold is digital gold, right? Bitcoin, they call, so I mean, this is kind of the problem that they have right now, like the Bitcoiners of the world. They have sold the whole world on Bitcoin is this revolution technology that the whole world is going to use to move value, right? This is the network of the future to move value. But realistically, what Bitcoin has turned into is a digital store of value. And it's a digital store of value for as long as people believe it's a digital store of value, believe it's going to go up. Now, obviously, Bitcoin could experience some massive shocks. If somehow the Satoshi wallet unlocks and starts moving Bitcoin around, sells 1 Bitcoin, I'd imagine Bitcoin would plummet 80% very quickly. You know, I think Bitcoin is really, the Bitcoin community has kind of put itself into a corner. They're just trying to stay under the radar here. If you're talking about overall use case, Bitcoin doesn't compare to what XRP can offer. I mean, they built the XRP ledger because they saw the inefficiencies that the Bitcoin blockchain actually had, right? So, you know, it's a store of value for the people that believe in it. I haven't, bro. From what I know, well, here, I think I actually had something in here about it, but I don't think I talked about it. Hold on, let me see. Is that they're raising here? Let's let's just see here really quickly. Tom, I see your donation. I'll get to it in just 1 second. Thank you, brother. Let me see here. Yes, here you go. So they're still raising money, I guess. $250 million dinner. So the list of attendees, you have Ripple here and a bunch of other companies. To get invited, you had to donate between 1 million, and some people or some companies donated $25 million. The crazy part is, like, you're president the second term already, you know, like, What I don't understand, and maybe somebody can help me better understand this because I'm not following it. But like, if you've already run and you've already were elected twice, you can't run a third time. So what are we still raising money for? I don't understand that. And I don't know. I don't follow that. But yeah, that should be an interesting dinner. I'm sure we'll get some photos of Brad Garlinghouse standing next to Trump or something, and then we'll speculate on what that means. I don't know. It should be interesting, I guess. Let's get Luna chunky donation. I know you're long term like me. What do you plan on staking and using any of your XRP and DeFi once proven? So Tom, yeah, I like once proven, I think is the big thing here. And I don't think I would use all of it. I think I'd maybe put 5% of it or some low percentage. Once you start locking up XRP on some other platform for some reason, anything can happen to that XRP, right? I've seen companies that, you wouldn't think had any problems, and like things happen, bro. Like, I mean, look what happened to Binance, right? They're supposed to be the biggest exchange in the world that has all of this money to have all of the best infrastructure, and billions of dollars lost. So I wouldn't underestimate the ability for anything to fail. But once it gets rolled around, it should be, I mean, you got Midnight from Cardano, you have Flare, and you're going to have other ecosystems being developed. That's all going to require XRP. XRP being locked up, if there's a lot of institutional XRP out there, they're going to want places to earn yield on it. I think it's going to be good, Tom. Just be careful. It's called a retirement package. Yeah. Is that what it is? Man, it must be nice. Must be nice. Making billions of dollars in 1 year and you're still making money. Man, I need to run for president maybe. I could just raise an unlimited amount of money for no reason at all. Crazy stuff. I think JD has a long way to go before he's presidential worthy. Long way to go. Sensei, chart on potential XRP usage with Ripple acquired companies was great information. Blessings to you. Thank you for all you're doing. T. Scott, man, thank you. I really appreciate you. I'm glad that was helpful to you and your learning. That means everything to me. It means everything to me, man. So there are private ledgers. Yes, Ripple did create private ledgers, and private ledgers are usually what is used for CBDCs. Now, you can do like a public version of a CBDC on the XRP ledger itself, but yes, private ledgers are a solution that Ripple offers. Yes, I think it's like 2019 or 2020, something like that. Yeah, Jay, I don't, my line of what is illegal and isn't legal has moved significantly over the last maybe, few years. That line is moving towards most stuff feels like it's legal at this point, right? I don't know. I know, and he's already like, what is like? Hold on, let's just see. What is Trump's net worth right now? How much money has he and his family made since becoming president? Second time. I'm just curious. I don't know the number, but I'm interested to know. All right, so his net worth is 7.3 billion. This marks a remarkable increase of $3 billion since his reelection. He's made $3 billion since being reelected. Must be nice. Must be nice. 70% jump in his money per year. Cryptocurrency worth $2 billion. Licensing and branding, 400 million. Legal windfall. Man, must be nice. Eric Trump grew his net worth from 40 million to 750 million. John Jr. increased to about 500 million. Barron Trump, 150 million. There you go. Must be nice. What does Kamala Harris have anything to do with JD Vance needing to improve himself before becoming a president? This is like, people get a little too crazy. Like you can't really say anything without setting some people off. I think that's a larger problem with like social media and just, you know, have a deep breath, maybe have a coffee or something. I don't know. Just let me see here. Duke says, what do you think about something I mentioned 2 years ago, that the US government will adopt crypto to reduce their debt? I think the US is looking at all solutions to try to do this, Duke. And you probably are not far off. Absolutely. Yeah, Jay. I see you, Jay. Hey Rob, so listen, there's a lot of, I can only tell you what people talk about the most. Okay. So like, I have experience using Decent. I have experience using Ledger. I think both of those are top quality wallets. I think other wallets people mention is like Illipal, Tangem, and there's one other one, but Decent and Ledger are the two ones that I hear people most talking about. Once Carfax or Carfox, CarFX. I'm just going to call you Car. My bad. Once everything is go for XRP, how many years do you see the price rising before it settles? How many years do you see the price rising before it settles to just an inflationary or cost of living or growth? Or once everything go for XRP, how many years do you see the price rising? Like, how long is it going to take? I mean, it depends on adoption, right? Like the price could rise tomorrow if they really started using the utility in the system, but we're not there yet with regulation and stuff, right? You can't, the problem you have here is they don't have crypto regulation yet here in the United States. The only crypto assets that really have regulatory clarity is XRP, outside of, you know, the acceptable Bitcoin and Ethereum, I guess now, because the ETFs. But when you're talking about legal clarity, XRP really is the only asset with legal clarity. So until you have clarity for the rest of the crypto market, you can't really move this infrastructure to these systems, right? They've been building and testing and piloting and getting ready to enact this new system where you're using blockchain and everything is on, either have a token representing the value on chain, whether it's a stock or a bond or whatever it is, right? They've been building this infrastructure out for a long time, but until you really have this regulation bubble that you have, clear rules globally, and especially in these markets that do a lot of trading back and forth between them, I think you need those types of things before you can really take off. How long does it take to get all that set up? I think that's a very difficult question to answer. There are a lot of people in this space that believe XRPs could see 2 to 3 digits here over the next few months. And there are some people that believe you could even see a 4-digit XRP, like $1,000 XRP in early 2026. Now, I can't get up here and tell you that I know any information that says XRP is going to $1,000 in 2026, but I believe XRP's value should well be over $1,000. How long it takes to get there, I couldn't tell you, man. And thank you for the donation. I appreciate you. Yeah, media, we were talking about that. You know, I was looking at some other information here too. What was I looking at? I was looking at what pieces Ripple is missing. Let me see here. JP Morgan. Let me see. Oh, hold on. What was I searching? Oh, what? Man. Let me try to find this for you though. I was researching this. I closed, you know, I finished my video and I closed the window. I want to pull this. I want to pull something up that I was looking at. Like, what pieces does Ripple still need? Man, this is going to be hard to find. It's probably on one of these lists. Hold on. I'm trying to remember what I searched to pull this up. Bear with me here. Hold on. I'm trying to find what pieces Ripple would need to buy next. Oh yeah, here we go. Yes, found it. Found it. Let me pull it up. Okay, so just to set this up here really quickly. I wanted to figure out what pieces Ripple is missing. So recently they purchased Rail, which is business to business stablecoins. Treasury, getting the corporate treasury. With Hidden Road, they're getting into FX, margin, OTC desks, you know, borrowing, lending, that type of stuff. So what pieces are they still missing that they would need to acquire? Like, I wanted to try to figure out what companies Ripple would try to buy next. Okay. And that's what this research is based off of. Okay. So the question is, looking at the companies Ripple just purchased in 2025 over the past few years, what is missing? Now they have custody, treasury, prime broker. What do you think they'll buy next? What pieces am I missing? And so it pulls up the companies Ripple has purchased over the last few years. You have, you know, custody with Medico. You have regulated trust entity Fortress. You have tokenization infrastructure, standard custody, stablecoin payments, Rail, prime brokerage, Hidden Road, and then treasury and risk management, G Treasury. And so here are the missing pieces. So first thing Ripple would need is their banking license, which they are waiting on. Right. I believe this is coming, you know, any day, any week now. We're just waiting for the OCC to give approval, and then Ripple will have the first piece. Now, the second piece of what they need here is a securities exchange, or an ATS, also known as an alternative trading system. Ripple Stack leads a regulated trading venue for tokenized assets. Buying and launching an ATS or DEX with regulatory approval will let them host trading of tokenized bonds, equities, and repos integrated into the XRP ledger. Also, they would be looking at a payment processor or merchant network, something like a Stripe or a WorldPay. They also need credit, lending, and asset management division. And they also would be looking at compliance and identity infrastructure. They would need these final pieces to really compete against the JP Morgans of the world. So I actually just recorded a video earlier today where I really go in depth about all of this. If you're interested, that content should come out probably tomorrow. A lot of content. I've been just going crazy with it. Let's see here. Connor says, Sensei, when you worked out the prices XRP could go to on daily transactions, do you take into account the same token is being used multiple times a day, 10 times, 100 times? So Connor, when you're looking at numbers like that, you have to take into consideration a lot of different factors, right? And so you need to be looking at like the available supply of XRP, not the total supply of XRP, and a bunch of other factors. So did the system consider reusing XRP 1,000 times? I don't think so. I'd have to go back and take a look. But it's just talking about how much value is moving across the chain. It doesn't really matter if you reuse XRP 1,000 times, you're still processing all of that value and it's moving on chain. The value is living and moving on the XRP ledger and for settlement. So, but I can jump into that and get in a little bit deeper if we want. Chunky Fund Besties, XRP, now not financial advice, was in, but if new is anything, would DCA through this market into bear market till the next bull run? I know that not a nice question, but I gotta pick one. Chunky Fund Besties, Bitcoin and ETH, XRP, and not financial advice. So like, are you asking me, Tom, like which one out of these three? I mean, like, let's look at best case scenarios for all three. Okay. Hold on. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Let me pull this up. Looking at analysts' information on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, what is the most bullish case for all three? I'm trying to see, like, I've seen people talking about a 5 million or a $10 million Bitcoin. I've seen people talking about, you know, 100,000 or $200,000 Ethereum. I'm just trying to look at like what the market caps would need to be to reach those types of levels. I can kind of go here. Look, let me just show you here. Let's just look at this real quick. Let me just drop that for a second. So Bitcoin, like if Bitcoin did 100x from where we're talking about right now, you're talking about what, you're talking about a $200 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. I don't know, man. It's so hard for me to believe that people are going to invest that much money into Bitcoin over time. You know, but there's a lot of people that think $1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years is possible. You know, a 10x probably possible over the next 5 years. Ethereum, I definitely think Ethereum could probably be anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 over the next 5 to 10 years, depending on adoption. A lot of people think it could go higher. You're talking about a 10x here is a 4 trillion, 40,000. I mean, that's not crazy, right? Ethereum could be $100,000 at a $10 trillion market cap. I definitely think that's possible. You know, if people think XRP can go to, you know, 10 trillion, 50 trillion, 100 trillion, you don't think Ethereum is going to follow suit? I definitely believe, like, mark my words here, I do think Ethereum will be at 6 figures before people realize it. XRP, I think, has an incredible upside. If you're comparing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, the utility around XRP and the connections that Ripple have, I don't think can be denied. Obviously, you know, do people want to spend $3,000 buying one Ethereum, or does somebody want to buy, you know, a 1,500 XRP for the same price? Like, what will have more value to that one person? Like, if you only had $10,000 to put in the market today, would you rather own, you know, 2 Ethereum or 3 Ethereum, or would you rather own, you know, almost 4,000 XRP? Like that's the hard part here. You know, like, I think people coming into the market with a limited budget, I think, like, if you're going to take a risk on any of this stuff, are you going to buy like 0.1 Bitcoin? Are you going to buy 3 Ethereum? Or are you going to buy 4,000 XRP? What do you think will have more value in the future? And I think it's XRP. Thank you for the donation. Do you have your investments in a trust or LLC? What do you do personally? Or is that too much information to ask? Jordan, that is a little too much information. I don't want to disclose kind of like where my XRP is, but I do have multiple companies set up. Yes. Not going to tell you where, though. I don't really want to get into that, but yeah. The hard part for me is I wanted to be able to have my assets separated from my life, like, you know, getting up here and doing all this crypto stuff. And, you know, sometimes people get pissed off at you and want to come and do things. And I was worried about my crypto being affected. Like, if I got into a car accident or something happened to me in the real world, how, you know, would I have to worry about me losing my crypto? And I was worried about that. So I did set up some things. So if something does happen, whether it's here online or in the, you know, whatever, that I would not lose my crypto. Are you going to be at the barbecue? You're going to be at the barbecue, right? Yeah, Jay Claver has a lot of good advice on setting up LLCs and all of that stuff. Absolutely. Duke says Bitcoin will become the gold of our world near the future. China, for example, just discovered a vein worth 8 trillion. Yeah, I mean, like, I think they're talking about too, like when they figure out how to mine asteroids, right? Like, aren't they going to find a bunch of things out in space too? I don't know, man. It feels like there's a very, yeah. Luna did wake up. What is she doing? Let me go grab her. Hold on, Luna. What's going on? We were sitting in the living room with our tail tucked. Are you okay? Her. People want to say hello? Anything you'd like to say? Suspenseful. You all right? I don't think she had an accident. I don't know. She barked at something, and then I went in there, and it looked like she. I don't know. You know when you just walk in on them, and it's like something doesn't seem right. Is that you? Do you see yourself in the screen? Luna doesn't like cameras. She knows. Could have been a bad dream. A ghost? Zachary, don't get me too worried about that. Are you okay, my love? Are you gonna go lay down? Oh my god, you smell like mom. Go lay down. I'm almost done. Okay, hold on. Let me see. All right, we got a little time here. I still have a few minutes. I want to watch the Dodgers game. The only thing Jake Laver owns is XRP. Yeah, Jake owns a lot of XRP, man. Thank you for breaking that down for us, man. Luna, come on. Come on. Our peer says she saw a ghost. Our dog would look at things we couldn't see, but he clearly could. You might be right. Where are your 11,000 banks in your pocket? Let me see, Tom. I might have. Man, people get real spicy about certain topics. Kind of crazy. Sent on Tuesday. Yeah, Tom, I think I did, man. I think I checked it out. I'm trying to remember clearly. I'll try to take a look after this. We get a lot of emails, and my team goes through a lot of it, and then I try to answer as many things as I can. Somebody shared the live link, and it's a Shrooms Fantasy channel. I'm saying so many things before conclusion. I don't know what that means. I'm oversaying so many things in public. I don't know what that means, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's some weird comments. All good though. What am I gonna do? Are you learning anything, Jenny? I don't know. We did the show. I'm trying to answer some questions, but we haven't had many questions, more of statements. Jen, it's impossible to know. It's impossible to know, Jen. I mean, these should be some of the best months for crypto with the government shutdown and people wary of the markets. You got to remember, like in the US, when the government shut down, people aren't getting their paychecks, right? People are not going out and spending money, right? And so you have millions of people who are not now contributing to the economy. And those people are not going out and investing money into the markets, right? Those people are worried about their paychecks. So how long does that go on? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, Nate, rate cut is coming. You're probably going to get a 0.25 at the end of the month, and then you're going to get a 0.25 in December. That's what it's looking like. Absolutely. No, I'm not going to change the way that I do stuff to make you happy about my conclusions. When I fully research something and I come to a conclusion, that's how I feel. People come to this channel for that. And I'm not going to change that because one person asked me to not come to a conclusion. Like, what? I'm sorry. I can't change who I am to make like one random person happy about stuff. Like, these are the conclusions that I am making. I provide a lot of research backing up those conclusions. If you don't like the conclusions, I respect that, right? But I cannot change who I am to please anybody. I cannot do that. I don't know, man. It's whatever conclusion, whatever conclusion. Yeah, I think it's time, guys. All right, listen, I love each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I will be back on Tuesday with more news and information. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. It is getting a little weird here on a Friday night. There are a lot of like playoff games and these types of things. Listen, spend some time with somebody you love this weekend. Cherish the time that you have right now. It is an opportunity of a lifetime. I will keep providing as much information as I can. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Ariana, OSOK, Richard, everybody who showed up for the chat. If you want to support the channel, a $10 membership of the channel gets you access to videos that are released earlier without ads here on YouTube. $10 membership gets you access to a lot of information. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.